Okay, this is Black Girls Cancer Club podcast. This is episode 5. Today we have Shayla James as our guest.
Hey,
Hi.
Frit.
Hi, I'm so
Hi.
excited to have
Thank you
you.
for having me.
It is an honor because, when I recently got diagnosed, you were my first breastie
Yeah.
I spoke to, so I'm so happy to have you here.
When you asked me to be here, it was just like with no hesitation, no second thought. I mean, that's what the breastie is about, just being there, showing up. So it's all good, girl.
Yes, thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. So we'll just jump right into it.
Okay.
We just want to know, like, what's your journey? Like, how was your journey when you, let's back up.
Okay.
How did you find out you had breast cancer?
Okay, so I moved to Houston. Oh my gosh, it's 3 years. So I moved to Houston. I had a plan to kind of start over. I was just feeling stagnant in my creativity and just being out here in Oakland. I just wanted something new.
Yes.
I had this list of things to prepare myself for. I'm turning 40, and when I go to Houston, I am, cheaper rent, just all these other things that was like on my mind and not breast cancer. Even like, I'm gonna go to Houston, I'm gonna find me a man, I'm gonna find my husband.
Yeah. I've heard that one before. Yes.
So when I got there, February of 2021, I just was feeling like, I'm big on touching my breast, because I have always had dense breast.
Okay.
And so I was just like touching my breast one day, and I felt a really hard knot on my left breast. At first, I think it was around period time, so I'm just thinking that it was just my breast just being swollen, menstrual symptoms. And so, I went about my business. So then I remember driving down the street, and I seen this big sign, and it said, it was this, I think it was like not a hospital, but like a facility, and they specialized in mammograms.
Okay.
And I seen the sign, and it was huge. It was like mammogram, $99. And I was just, I don't know, something like I was just looking at it, and I was just driving, and I just kind of kept it in my head. So when I got back home, I was touching my breast again, and I was just like, this just doesn't feel like, the other times I have went to the doctor. I was like, it was hard as a rock. And so I called my friend, and I was asking her, and I was just like, I have this on my breast. And she was like, you need to go, like, today. Yes. And so at the time, I did not have insurance. I'm moving over here, so I'm moving to Houston, and so I didn't have any insurance. And so I was just like, it's $99. Let me go do that and do what I need to do. So I went, made the appointment. I let them know that I've had mammograms in the past. And, I just felt this lump, and something's just not feeling right. And so, they seen me. And maybe 2 weeks later, they called me back, and they were like, okay, we do see some abnormality. And so we need you to come in, and we want to do a biopsy. I was like, okay. I'm telling you, it's so crazy. Soon as they said that, I said, oh, yeah, no. I just have a feeling. Like, I was like, I have a feeling this is breast cancer.
You did.
I did. This was just not like any other times. Any other time that I've gotten checked, it was benign. It was a little softer. This one just felt very different. And so as she's checking me, she's like, what has us concerned is the lymph nodes under your arms. And so she's just like, we're going to test these out. And I was just kind of preparing my mind, and I was just like, okay, like let's get ready for the possibility. I wasn't scared, anything like that. I'm God's favorite, and so I trust Him and I allow Him to lead me. And whatever He wants from me, then I just do your will, right?
Yes.
So it's so crazy. I was talking to this guy, and I went to Kansas City to hang out with him. Mm-hmm. And it was around the time that I was supposed to get the results back. And, we're talking and, getting to know each other. And he was in the kitchen, and he was cooking. I get a phone call, and this was just like a weekend hangout with him, right?
Yeah.
And he's cooking. I get a phone call, and, I'm like, hello? And she says, this is so-and-so from, the name of the Solace Mammography, I think is what it's called. And unfortunately, before we say this, I just want to let you know we tried to contact your primary care physician. We couldn't get in touch with her. And my primary care physician is actually my best friend.
Yes.
And so, I know it's a little past the date and you kind of been wondering what's going on, but we do have to let you know that it did come back positive, and you do have breast cancer, and we're looking at stage 2, stage 3, inductal carcinoma. And I was just like listening. And she's just going on and on and on. I don't even think that I said a word because it was just kind of went blank.
Yeah.
And so she's just running down all this stuff. She was like, I'm so sorry. This happened to you. An oncologist is going to call you right after we're done. So I hang with the phone. Immediately the oncologist calls. And so she's like, I know you just got the news. We want to just let you know what your journey is pretty much going to look like.
Yes.
She's like, you're probably going to have to do X amount of rounds of chemo. As soon as she said chemo, I was like, no, chemo. And I was like, there's no other option. And she was just like, no, because it's in your lymph nodes. And then she was like, you're probably going to do radiation. Then she started talking about fertility. It was just so much information at one time. It was so overwhelming. I didn't have no emotions. I was just like, okay, well, thank you. Thank you for that information. And so she was like, soon as you get back, do you have an oncologist? I said, no, I wasn't even preparing to worry about that. I just moved to Houston to turn up and start a new life. And breast cancer was not on my list of things to worry about. So I called my friend. And as soon as I call my friend, she is bawling. Aww. And all I'm thinking about is I'm in this space with this new guy that I'm dating. He still doesn't know what's going on. And, I'm trying to keep straight face. And do I want to share?
Yeah.
So I hang up with my friend and I go in the room. He's asleep. And I'm trying to wake him up because immediately at this point, I'm just going to want to pack my bags and get back to Houston. And I woke him up and he was like, what's going on? I have my luggage. And I was like, yeah, I'm just about to leave. And he was like, where are you going? I was like, I'm just about to go home. He was like, did I do anything? I was just like, no. And then I just got kind of quiet because I'm a Capricorn. I tend to hold things in. I don't like to show face, unfortunately. I might cry behind closed doors. And so he's like, what's wrong? And then I just start bawling. And I said, I just found out I have breast cancer. So as someone who just met me maybe 3 weeks ago, he don't even know how to respond. He don't know if he wants to hug me. He don't know how to react. And so he's like, oh, okay, well, like, oh, I'm so sorry, okay, well, my dad, he started going like, my stepdad has, prostate cancer and, you're going to get through this. And so we're having a moment on the couch and I'm like, okay, everything's going to be okay. And so this is when it gets kind of shady. So we had dinner plans at 7:00 that evening. So he's sitting on the couch and we take a little nap. And it's about 6:00 we wake up. And so I'm like, all right, I think it's, it's time for us to get ready for dinner. And so he pauses for a second. He was like, I think I'm just going to eat my meal prep that I have,
he didn't.
In the fridge. And I was just like, okay, well, I'm out here in Kansas and I've never been. I'm a very, whatever, somebody don't want to do anything, I'm going to go do it myself.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, well, I'll just go, across the street and eat dinner. So I go across the street, I'm FaceTiming my family, letting them know the news. Yes. Was sitting there and an hour passed and I was like, all right, it's time for me to go back upstairs. I just felt something. I'm a big energy person.
Yeah.
His energy just got real weird.
Yeah.
And so when I got back upstairs, he was sitting on the couch watching TV. I sat next to him and we were in silence for about 45 minutes. And I said, mind you, before all of this, letting him know I have breast cancer, he was talking about the future, okay?
Yes.
I want you, I want to date you. I want to do this and this and that. And so then we were sitting in silence. He was like, I was like, yeah, you just got kind of weird on me. Like, what's up? And he was like, I'm going to be honest with you. This is too much for me. And I was like, what do you mean too much?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, like cancer and stuff. Like, it's just too much. I don't have time for it. Like, I'm trying to build my house, I got a lot going on. So I don't have time for all of this. And so immediately I was just like, the way that I felt about myself, I'm a very confident woman.
Yes.
And it immediately made me feel like like it's a plague. Like, is this what my journey is about to be like? People are
Yes.
going to be like, no, like she got cancer.
Yes.
Like, And so then I just packed up my stuff. He didn't say bye. He didn't say nothing. I literally packed up my stuff and walked out the door. He didn't say anything. Didn't see him since. And, I'm in the elevator. I'm crying because I'm trying to take all of this in. I'm like, like, am I going to find a partner? Is somebody going to accept me for what's going on with me? I'm talking to God. I got a hotel. I was praying. And I just had my moment. And then I just was like, Shayla, you're going to be good. God removes people out of your life for a reason. Could you imagine actually going through that and him just kind of dipping on you when you really needed him? So 3 weeks in, it was just like, it was good. So I got back home and I just, put my foot on the ground. And I didn't really give myself too much time to process. I just was like, it's go time. Like, this is what I have to do. I have to live. I have to survive. I have a lot going on with myself. And this is what God wanted me to go through. What they say, he gives his toughest battles to his toughest soldiers. And so that is pretty much how it all started. And, I was out there in Houston alone. And like I said, it's hard for me to ask for help. People, my friends were always trying to, like, let's come, like, can we come out there? And I was like, I'm good. And what was important for me was my boundaries. And this was my journey and my process, and no one else mattered. It was important for me to let my friends know how I needed them to support me, how I needed them to show up, because what tends to happen is they make it about themselves, not purposely. They just care. They just don't know how to process everything. And so I'm like, no, when y'all call me, I want y'all to crack jokes, talk to me regular. It doesn't have to be a full cancer conversation every time. I'm alive. I'm here. Like, be my friends. And so they totally accepted my boundaries. And I was like, you guys, if it got to a point where I couldn't handle it, you guys would know. You guys would know. I would call you. And so the cancer, going through chemo, I was always there by myself. Before anybody, people always wanted to come with me. And I was just like, no, I wanted to experience that by myself, and I wanted to see how that felt. And the thing about it is, like, I was very protective, and as soon as you tell somebody you have cancer, everybody turns into a doctor. everybody, wants to Google and let you know Shayla, so it's this tea that you need to drink, and
or yoga.
Or yoga, and like, you don't need to be eating tofu, and it's these pills and Dr. Sebi. It was a lot, especially sharing on social media. And so in the beginning, you want to, people are coming from a place of love. But at some point, I just had to say, this is my journey. Can you stop sending me these articles? Can you stop telling me about your aunt that just died? Or, why it doesn't have to turn into that, because I'm here and I'm living. And so even then, like, going through chemo, losing my hair. The thing about it is, like, I've always had short hair. I would shave my head. So, having a bald head was nothing. I was still on dating apps. I was still going out. That did not stop a thing. It was just kind of confirmation, like, these men don't care.
They don't.
What can they say when you confident, you showing up? I'm going to day parties, head shining and glistening, outfits popping. And I know people will come up to me and ask me, like, no disrespect, but, are you going through cancer? And I'm like, but I'm having a good time. And they're like, want to share their stories. But I think it's like, for me, it was conversations constantly in the mirror with myself. You are not cancer. You're Shayla. And this is just what you're going through. You are alive. You are blessed. And soon as I had those conversations with myself and allowing myself for my journey to be mine. When the doctor gave me the piece of paper that was pretty much telling me all the symptoms that are going to happen when I go through chemo. You're going to lose weight. Your bones are going to ache. You're going to vomit. You're going to do all these things. And after my first experience, and I was sitting there waiting. Like, I was sitting there waiting to vomit.
I think you told me that.
Yeah, I was sitting there waiting to feel a certain type of way, not have an appetite, and I didn't. I was like, oh yeah, no, this is my journey.
Yes.
This is going to be the way that I want it to be.
Yes.
And my symptoms were not that. And the thing about it is, like, when you start believing those things, you become those things.
Yes.
So if you're like, oh yeah, it says that I'm going to be sick and I'm going to feel ill and I'm going to not have an appetite. You're going to keep telling yourself that over and over again, and you're going to start to believe that.
Yes.
I ripped up that paper and was like, yeah, no, this is going to be the way that I want it to be. I've always been like a health nut. So when it came to juicing and taking care of myself, I was always big on that.
Yeah.
I stayed active, and like, it was up to me how I wanted this to be, and nobody else's.
Yes.
Because what happened to you and what you're going through is Brittany's journey.
Yes.
What happened to me, everybody's body is the same. So I never wanted to take in what people were going through.
Yeah.
And it was almost like if people would almost be like, do you have cancer? Like, they, in their mind, I feel like they want you to be 90 pounds, walking around with tubes up your nose and weak and not still going out. I'm partying, having a good time, and people coming up to me, are you okay? You don't see me shaking my ass right now?
Yes.
I'm going to need you to let me
live.
Right. We don't have to talk about this.
Yes.
Thank you, but no.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been a interesting and a very interesting journey, and like, I'm appreciative of it, honestly. It allowed me to, we have these plans in life, and everything that we plan is always good things. Yes. What are we going to do for the next 5 years? Like, where you see yourself? Like, what are you going to do next week? What's your business goals? We don't never plan for the things that come in between, because you never know, right?
Yes.
And so when we are hit with those things that are unplanned, it's like, how do you handle them? Do you completely allow them to take over you, and you forget all of the amazing things that you have going on for yourself and all of your plans?
Yes.
Or do you allow yourself to feel, process, adjust, and push?
Yes.
And that was my mentality the whole time. I kept my mind and my mental very strong. And I told myself, there's no need to stress off of things that you can't change. There is nothing you could do about it. Even going through a mastectomy, and I get asked about that all the time.
Yeah.
Because people didn't know, because I wear a lot of oversized clothes, but that's always been my style.
Yes.
And even after mastectomy, even after I had to go through that, and I remember taking the bandages off, and I was standing looking in the mirror, and I was like, okay, you're still cute. Like, I still felt sexy.
Yes.
I still felt very beautiful.
Yes.
And what's crazy is, like, I used to have really big breasts, and I used to ask God all the time, like, oh, I do not want these big old titties. Like, I'm tired. And so God has a funny way of showing you and giving you what you need. And he got rid of them. And going through surgery and talking to my surgeon, my doctor would be like, you're really young. And so the two options you have are an implant or a D-flap.
Yes.
And a D-flap, they're taking fat from your stomach, but they would tell me, you don't have enough weight on your body, and you have to gain weight. And the health freak that I am, I was just like, I doubt that happens. I will try, but I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to, because in my head I'm like, my outfits, I ain't gonna be, which is so vain. But I was like, hey, my outfits. And then they're explaining to me, you're gonna have this long scar across your your stomach, and you're gonna be in a lot of pain. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't want that. Then they start talking to me about my implant, and I'm like, I don't really want anything foreign in my body, because actually my expander, my tissue expander, it rejected. So I had
Interesting.
So I had to have emergency surgery.
I think you had told me that. We had talked.
Yeah. It rejected. And so after that, they pretty much were like, your body does not like things like foreign objects, and so we really don't think that an implant would be good for you.
Yes.
So it was crazy, because I went to my surgeon twice, because I was going back and forth, and I was like, I really don't need that. I am perfectly comfortable in my body. It's not stopping my dating. It's not stopping my sex life.
Yes.
It's not stopping any
Period.
of that. And I feel good and I feel fine. I feel beautiful. And that's what was most important to me. It's like, how do you show up in your confidence? You know, and people, it's nothing nobody can say about me because I'm just too in love with myself.
Yes.
You know, so even if somebody was like, oh, she got a vasectomy, she only got one. And
yes.
tell me something.
Yes.
Tell me something I don't know. I'm still very much in love with myself.
Yes.
And so the journey has been interesting. I still have to go get my checkups every couple months.
Yeah.
Screenings, CT scans, because my the cancer spread into my lymph nodes, so I had to get all my lymph nodes removed underneath my armpits. And so I'm still very high risk, and so I have to be monitored a lot. I have to get infusions.
Yes.
You know, and dealing with fertility.
Yeah.
The thing about me is I'm in a peaceful space with that because I was never one of those people that was just like, oh, I want children. Which is a blessing.
Yeah.
Because you are received so much, you are given so much information so quickly with time frames that are like, okay, you have chemo, the radiation, you have to figure out if you want kids or not. And I'm like, wait, I thought I still had time.
Yeah.
And so I was never really like, it wasn't a priority for me. So going through the fertility, and it's unfortunate, and the laws need to be changed with healthcare. The fact that fertility is not covered by oh my gosh, fertility is not covered with a lot of insurances.
Yes.
And so even with breast cancer and what women have to go through, it's not covered.
Yeah.
And so it's damn near between 20,000 to 50,000. It's very expensive.
Yeah, I did fertility.
Oh,
that was
okay.
one of the first things that they put me through.
Okay.
They were like, you're going to do fertility.
Okay.
And it was crazy because I had my daughter.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want any more kids.
Yeah,
and
but
I
just
had
in case.
just kind of got my life back.
Yeah.
And I was wearing my thought clothes.
Yeah.
You know, and so when I was told I couldn't have any children, it was like, wait, hold on, you're right. It moves so fast where you don't have a moment to kind of think.
Yeah.
Definitely I can't nurse anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so those things happen really, really quick.
Yes, hyper speed. The thing with me is so my medication. So as long as I'm taking, because my cancer was estrogen driven, so that has to be controlled. But the thing about it, as long as I talked to my doctor, if I did want to have a child, I would have to get off my medication and we have to talk about it. It doesn't mean I can't.
Yes.
But I'm okay.
Yes. Yes.
I'm 43 and 5.
So you are estrogen driven.
Yes.
Yours.
Yeah.
I'm HER2 positive.
Okay. Yes. So estrogen driven. So yeah, it's the journey is a lot. And the only way to get through this journey is having a strong mental, a strong support system, and being in control of you, setting your boundaries. No means no. I don't want to talk about this right now. I don't care how you feel.
Yes.
If you take it personal, that's your problem and not mine.
Yes.
But this is how I feel about it. And as soon as you are able to take control of that, it's good.
Yes.
And so, you know, I'm glad you asked me to come talk about this. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I think this is necessary and so needed. People are being diagnosed, Black women, younger and younger, and you have to advocate for yourself. I have people asking me all the time, like, I'm 29 and my doctor won't let me get a mammogram. I'm like, no. You need to, and you keep advocating for yourself. It's crazy because as soon as I turned 40 is when I was diagnosed, right?
Wow.
And so, but before that, I was constantly getting checked. But we have to. It's happening to so many of us more frequently. I have friends in my friends group that are going through it.
Oh wow.
And you know, we have to, you know, advocate, we have to teach, we have to let people know the preventative measures. And it's like, you may not be able to stop it, but you can take control of it quickly so you can live. So yeah, I'm God is good. I talk loudly and proudly. God is so good.
He's so good.
And I'm just happy to be here, and wherever he leads me, here's my hand, take me wherever you want to go. And
have one question.
Yes,
for
as many
you.
questions.
Okay.
Yes.
What advice would you give another young girl that is going through this journey?
I would tell her to allow herself to feel, allow herself to process. Your life is not over.
Yes.
Cancer is not a death sentence. And stay off of embed.com. Please stay off that, okay?
Yes.
Because it will tell you that you're going to die tomorrow.
Yes.
Please stop.
Yes.
Get off Google.
I don't Google anything.
Yeah.
'Cause it just, your mind will go
your
crazy.
mind will go.
Even if you feel something too,
Uh-huh.
I highly recommend like not going on the internet because it would say, it says a lot.
Yeah, it says a lot, and a lot of it is the worst.
Yes.
It prepares you for the worst.
Yes.
But grab your support system, and your support system doesn't have to be 10, 20 people. It could be 1 or 2 people,
Yes.
you know, and don't be afraid to use them.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to be vocal about how you feel. You do not have to go through this alone.
Yes.
The thing about Black women, and you know, this just has a lot to do with history.
Yes.
I'm a strong Black woman. I got this. We can carry everything. We could do this all alone.
We can.
You know, it's okay. This is time for us. This is our soft girl era now until infinity.
Yes.
And it's okay to tell someone that you need them.
Yes.
I need you. I need to cry today. And I don't
Yes.
need you to give me advice. I just need you to listen.
Listen.
And, you know, just, you know, use your outlets. Take care of yourself. Please take care of yourself. Health is wealth. I am big on that. And I know breaking habits are hard.
Yes.
But the way that you eat is extremely important. And you may not, you know, depending on if it's metastatic or whatever the case may be, you may still have to go through your chemo, your radiation, but how you feel is based on how you take care of yourself.
Yes.
Change that diet. It may
Yes.
not be the stuff that you want to eat, but change that diet. Continue to be active.
Yeah.
And it's okay to live a little, but also understand that you're trying to live a long time. And life doesn't stop. Continue
Yes.
to travel, continue to have fun, continue to
Yes.
turn up, continue to
Yes.
enjoy yourself. And people will judge you, and who cares, okay? Who gives
Yes.
a fuck?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to curse. but that's real.
Yes.
And you know, like people like you, people like me, and platforms like this are very important to turn to. And you know, like cancer looks like you and me.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't necessarily mean, you know, no hair,
Yes.
sickly, like we said.
Yes.
You know, we could look normal and
Yes.
perfectly fine.
Yes.
And understand that we are an example that life is still going on and there's still a lot of living to do.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. So one more question.
Yes, mini, as
Yes,
you
yes,
like.
mini.
I'm having
Were
fun.
you dating during your treatment? Were you like dating during
Yep.
chemotherapy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Because you know they say like a lot of us are pre-menopausal.
Yeah.
And life will stop.
oh yeah,
And so
it did not.
it did not.
It did not.
Yeah.
Life continued. Like I said, I've always been a very confident woman, and I prepare my mental. As soon as I found out, you know, I prepared my
Yeah.
mental for this.
Yeah.
Whether it was praying to God, having conversations in the mirror, it may sound cliche, putting little sticky notes
Yeah,
on
all over the mirror.
all over the
Yeah.
mirror, doing whatever's necessary to make sure that you don't lose yourself.
Yes.
You know, even when I was starting to lose my hair, actually, I shaved my head first.
Oh, you were smart.
Uh-huh.
That was smart.
I shaved my hair first.
Yeah.
Before I started to lose it. I went to Trey to get my eyebrows done. Shout out to Trey.
Yes,
I was
Trey.
like, Trey, get me ready, okay?
Yes.
I went to Trey to get my eyebrows done, just in case, you know, I just didn't know, you know, what was going to happen. But, you know, I was in Houston by myself. I just got out there, so I was still trying to, you know, experience the nightlife and
Yes.
and network and get myself out there. So I was still going out. I was
Yes.
on Hinge. I was on Bumble. Listen, I'm single, okay?
Yes,
And
yes.
my husband, I need him.
Yes.
So I needed to do what was necessary. But what was important for me as I was dating and going on these dates. What's crazy is all the men that I went on dates with, no one made me feel like, oh my God, you got cancer.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. You know, like I said, God knew who to bring my way. That first guy was just somebody that had to get out the way.
Yeah.
But after that, every guy that I met was empathetic.
Yes.
They showed up.
Yes. Isn't it crazy?
It's crazy, but we deserve. So no, it's not.
Yeah, it's almost like they like kind of more attracted to you.
Oh yeah.
When you tell them like, I got breast cancer, they're like,
Yeah.
oh wow,
they
like,
see a strength in you.
Yeah, they're like, oh, like you
right,
still that wow,
right.
you over here working.
Absolutely,
like, yes, indeed, I am.
Yes, I am, sir.
Yes.
So yes, I was still dating, going on dates. I was actually dating someone seriously. The only thing was when you take medication.
Yes.
They were talking about, you might experience dryness.
Yes.
And all of that. And I'm like, I'm too young for that. No. I was like,
yes.
For a minute, I was like, I will not take this medication.
Yeah.
I was like, you will not take that from me.
Yes.
You gonna leave me that.
Yes.
And so the good thing about it is like I was dating someone seriously. And, he would always be like, you're beautiful.
Aww.
And, going through the mastectomy, it was like he was still kissing all over my body and loving on me.
Yep.
It was missing nothing.
Yes.
And so I, that too, I share with people, like it doesn't stop. And I think it's how you show up. No one can take away your confidence. Like I was going to day parties, like I said, no hair, still looking cute. I'm walking through.
Yeah.
And I could say I probably got hit on more
than anyone.
Than anyone with the girls that, had their lace fronts and their weaves and all of that. The guys were just like, wow. The confidence, like you're beautiful. I was painting my head.
Yes.
I was doing that a lot. They were loving that. And God is good. I just never had to deal with that. I was kind of waiting for that. I was waiting for some assholes to be like, breast cancer. But no, like there were guys that would want to come with me to chemo. That was too much.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Like,
wow.
Come with me to chemo and sit there and hold my hand.
Yes.
I'm just like, that was more of a stake. Like I would want to share that moment with someone that I was really with.
Yeah.
But also I just didn't want it to be like I was trying to figure out what that was. Like you don't know me that much to once. I don't know if you were just trying to get it. Like I don't know, but I wouldn't let them go that far.
Yes.
But I can say dating.
Yeah.
Dating was lit.
Was normal.
It was absolutely normal. So ladies, just understand. A man, if you're looking for that, he will still
love on you.
He will still love on you.
Yeah, I had someone still they're like when I had the inflators, I would still kiss them inflators.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Oh my gosh, I had what are those things called?
The expanders, I mean.
Not the expanders. How about I had the drainage still hanging on to me?
Oh, the drainage after the surgery. And
still.
Oh,
still.
See?
Uh-huh.
No one can see.
No.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, get off the internet.
Get off the internet.
Do not listen to Google.
Do not listen to Google.
Because it's lying. They're lying.
Real men do not care, okay? They don't care if you don't got no booty. They don't care if you don't got no titties. They do not care. Don't let the internet, Instagram, social media lie to you, because it's about you as a human. It's about your soul.
Yes.
It's about, how kind you are, how you love on yourself, how you love people.
Yes.
That's what people love the most, your insides, and of course your beauty. So if you're a good person and you're giving that energy out, it's crazy for them to not want to love on you.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
What is Shayla's pet peeve?
Ooh. What is my pet peeve? When someone says that they are going to do something and they don't, that's a pet peeve of mine. Oh, when they volunteer, though. When they volunteer to do something, when I could have asked somebody else.
Yes.
And like I said, it's hard for me to ask for help.
Yes.
So when someone was like, I got you, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to do, and they don't show up, that's my pet peeve. When at any time you could have said it's too much or I'm not available. That is a big pet peeve of mine. Another pet peeve, this is probably from my grandma, okay? Like, if I have company and you come over and you open up my cabinets and you
Ooh.
leave my
You leave it open?
and you leave it open and walk away and continue to just do stuff like you don't see that cabinet open.
That's the Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn.
That is why
I am a
you
Capricorn.
understand.
Yeah.
I think we have this OCD. It's like not
It's
too
really
much.
bad.
It's really bad. Okay. Oh yeah.
It's
It's
bad.
really bad. We're a little anal about things.
We want everything to be perfect.
We want everything to be perfect, especially like in our spaces.
Yes.
My home. If you wash your hands and you got water on the counter, if you don't wipe that water off,
We're very routine.
we're very routine. Yeah, like I'm then after that I'm saying I'm not too bad, but yeah, like those are my pet peeves. And yeah, I can't really think of any more, but I'm sure there's more. But it's not too bad. I'm still
Yes,
cool.
you're
I'm still
still
down to
cool.
earth. You can still be yourself around me. Yes, for sure.
What's something about you that no one knows?
Okay. People are surprised by, okay, so like what I do
Yeah.
for So Oakland, my event planning, how I put myself out there on social media. I'm a real loner.
Really?
I am extremely, yes. I am a loner. And my friends know this. You may not think this, but I am shy.
No way.
I swear. And people do not believe that, but there is a shyness to me. I'm more introverted than extrovert. What they call you, ambivert.
Yes.
I am a loner. I travel alone a lot. If you see that, I travel
Really?
alone. I eat alone by myself. Like my friends and people could call me like, yeah, what you doing? Let's link up, or like, let's do this. I will go alone before I reach out to them, and it's not on purpose. I can't help it. I just find so much solitude and peace.
Are you the only child?
I'm the only child raised by my grandparents.
Okay.
And I don't know what that is, but I enjoy doing a lot by myself. But doesn't mean that when I'm with my friends or out that I'm not, then I turn into this extrovert. But I put on what I need to put on.
Yes.
So, we're doing So Oakland, doing my events and hosting. So no, I'm going to hug you. I'm going to love on you.
Yes.
I can't help it. But when I'm done with that and I
Yeah.
gave all my energy to all the people,
It's a lot.
then I go into my home and I am quiet and I'm lighting my candles and I'm by myself and like that's.
I think it comes from like when you feel people's energy.
Yeah.
When you've crossed over to like this path of like self.
Yep.
A lot of energy can drain you.
Oh my gosh,
right?
yes.
And so I think too, as a Capricorn, we like to daydream and be in our thoughts.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
I think that it's not like anything personal because like
No.
I can hang out with my friends and we can be in the room and it can be silent and I'm like, I hope she's fine with me being in this space.
Because we are good. We are good.
I'm okay with being silent.
I don't need you to entertain me or
Yes.
do tricks and stuff right now, or we good. Like,
Yes.
you good?
Yeah.
I might have to tap in like, it's real quiet. You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I'm good. It's just how we are, but people don't know that or think that of me because I present myself so vibrant and which I am.
Yes.
But I prefer to be alone.
Yes.
And even like when I'm traveling and people are like, you travel by yourself? Yes. And I love it.
Yes.
My last trip was to Colombia and I was like, just walking.
You went by
I
yourself?
went by myself and I did ayahuasca and I had that moment of like, I don't know if you know what ayahuasca is.
Nah.
So ayahuasca is basically like a psychedelic and it's from the earth and a lot of people do it. It's for healing.
Okay.
So I was in the jungles of Medellin and I was surrounded by strangers from all over the world. And basically you have to drink this ayahuasca. And, some people, it takes you deep, like really deep.
Oh, wow.
And with your thoughts. And like some people, they deal it to heal from childhood trauma or just anything that you're trying to fight or address. I did that. And I didn't go as deep as some other people did just because I think that I went in with this idea based off of listening to people's experiences. So when I went in, my mind was like thinking that, it was going to be this certain type of way because this happened to them.
Yeah.
So when I went, I didn't go as deep, but I had the deepest cry that I've ever had in my life. And it was so necessary. It was so needed. And it was releasing.
Yes.
It was just like everything that I was holding from cancer, from, I've dealt with a lot of loss. My niece was murdered.
Yeah.
My mom committed suicide. I just think my brother got killed. Like a lot of trauma in Oakland.
Yeah.
And I've been holding on to that.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I allow myself to fully heal from all of those things. Because I feel like sometimes, the way that we push through, the way that we deal with pain is we push through.
Yes.
We like jump into work. We jump into projects. We don't sit and allow ourselves to feel.
Yeah.
And my mom, she committed suicide in 2014.
Wow.
And I dealt with depression for 7 months when I moved to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for the depression in that moment.
Yeah.
Because that's how I started So Oakland.
Yeah.
And so I allowed myself to have that moment of depression, but I don't think that, I fully set with it.
Yeah.
My brother was killed in East Oakland. My nephew was killed.
Yeah.
And then my niece was killed on Highway 4 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So, I never really, and I was going through chemo at that time. And so, they tell you when you're going through cancer, don't stress, keep your stress levels low.
That was the first thing you told me.
Yep. I was like, don't stress.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have time to really
think
think about this. Right. Because you're trying to heal and be healthy.
Yeah.
And so I had to deal with all of that. And I definitely highly suggest and recommend that every breastie goes to therapy.
I go to therapy.
Yes.
My therapist.
Yes.
Yeah, I love my therapist.
Yes. Go to therapy.
Yeah.
Because it's not even during, it's the after.
Yes.
It's the after, and walking ourselves through that. And so it's very important to find a therapist and have someone to talk to, because like I said, it'll be days, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm in remission and I'm fine.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you're like, did I just go through that?
Yeah. Especially with the hormones.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Going up and down, up and down, up and down.
Up and down.
Yeah.
I was also feeling kind of guilty and I was dealing with this, because your life goes from doing whatever to now you got to go to the doctor 3 times a week.
Oh yeah. That's your new boo.
That's your new boo. Every day.
When they call,
oh my gosh. Where's the phone?
That's your new boo.
Duncan Cancer Center. I see it ringing. Hey Shayla, your infusion.
Can you do a reel on that, please? Call what they want.
What they want. Again,
yes.
I'm like, you are my boo. You're like my boyfriend for
yes.
real. So I was feeling guilty because I felt that I shouldn't. Like if I find myself getting frustrated or upset, that I'm like, oh my gosh, shit, I gotta go to the doctor again. I wouldn't allow myself to even feel that for too much longer, because I always be like, okay, Shayla, you're alive, you're well.
Yeah.
There's people in the hospital that have to live in the hospital.
Yeah.
You're still going through this. And so I would feel guilty that I felt like frustrated or mad. And then one day I was just like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're human. It's okay. I had to pull over one day and I was crying.
Yeah.
Because I was on my way to the doctor again and I was just like,
I always cry in the car.
Why do I why is this my life now?
Yeah.
The
routine.
My routine. And I was listening, and this made me cry even more. I was listening to, what's that song? Alone in a room. It's just me and you. Yolanda Adams?
Yes.
What is that song? I feel so lost.
Our soloist.
I don't know what.
I asked you
yes.
for, Mama, you want for your guidance?
Yes.
You sing it for us?
Especially, oh my gosh, the words.
Sing it for us.
Yeah. Low till I'm sure. Yes, open up my heart. Yes, my arms, my heart, all of that. But that song was on,
Yeah.
and every word resonated with me at that time. I pulled over and just cried and talked to God. I just needed my moment. And then I was done. And then I was good. You just got to give yourself those moments and don't try to hold it in. And I think sometimes at some moments it's like, I'm strong, I'm good,
like
I
you
got
said,
it.
being that strong black woman, you don't always have to.
That's a weakness of ours. That is not a strength.
Yeah.
I do not want to be a strong black woman all the time. Stop it. I want to be soft. I want to cry. I want to kick my feet. And no, I'm weak right now. And it's okay. And it doesn't make me a weak human, and I'm not able to handle things. I want to be weak right now, and I don't want to act like I know what I'm doing.
Period.
And that's okay. And that is okay. And I think we just be two in our heads about that. So yeah.
The burning question.
Yes.
Ooh. This is everybody's
one.
What made you decide this to be your last event for So Oakland? Being that you're in the Bay Area right now, I have to ask. For the Bay Area.
Yes. Okay.
What made you decide, this decision?
Okay. So the decision was not easy.
Okay.
Like I said, I started So Oakland. So Oakland was healing for me. Not only for me, but I realized that it was healing for a lot of people. The thing about it is, we talk about what needs to be done in Oakland. We talk about the things that we want to do. We talk about change. We talk about, this city has this city has that. And nobody is doing anything, right? And at that time, I just felt responsible. Like, my city I've lived a couple places, and I was like, my city needs something, like, I'm so Oakland, I'm so Bay, and that's my home, and I love my city. And, like the way that it started, it wasn't about me. It was about everybody else. And so creating that space, that security. The thing about Oakland and the thing about the media, and I get exhausted now that negativity travels faster than positivity. I'm so tired of the bipping videos. I'm so tired of the Gotham City narrative. I'm so tired. Okay, I get it. Our city, has, it's going through some things. But what happens is it's overshadowing all the amazing things that are going on, all the positive things that are going on, all the community curators that are doing things, because everybody want to talk about the bipping, the violence. I know it exists. Our city's hurting right now. And so for me during that time, it was so important, because I think that even then, Channel 2 News, on today's news, so-and-so got shot on 87. On today's news, so-and-so went, this is what happened in West Oakland. It was exhausting, because, the people that were constantly being shown were black and brown. Black people. Oh, don't go to East Oakland. Don't go to, I'm from East Oakland, and I'm not afraid of East Oakland. And so my point of starting So Oakland was to change the narrative, to break those stereotypes, even within our own community. We are not just one way. There's so many different type of black people, whether it's the hood, whether it's the tech, whether it's the artist, whether it's the geek, the professional, the LGBTQ. We're not, what's the word? Is it monolithic? We're not just one way. And so it was important for me that we are seen, all of us, and to create a space where we all felt welcome. And I think during that time, and even now, it's like, I had to fight so hard with trying to convince these venues, I worked very hard. And people don't know this side of event planning. I worked very hard talking to OPD every weekend. No, you know, because soon as they knew it was a black event or predominantly black, oh my gosh, you need this amount of police officers, you need this and that, and it's very expensive.
Yes.
And so building that rapport, building that relationship with the city, with OPD, with the permitting department, to let them know, like, we're not like that, and I'm tired of us having to take the blame and the fault for this person that robbed you know, this store.
Yeah.
Why is it generalized? And so to create this community, you know, movement and space where people felt like I can come into this space and I don't have to look over my shoulder.
Yeah.
And, you know, we still deal with, you know, the what's the word? The taboo still in our communities of LGBTQ.
Yeah.
And like, oh, you know, it's still a hard conversation sometimes. So to have a space where, you know, it's LGBTQ in this space. We got dudes from the block in this space. We got tech professionals in this space.
Yeah.
We got artists in this space, and everybody felt comfortable because this is blackness. You know, this is Black Oakland. This is brown Oakland, where, you know, our spaces that used to be ours are now becoming gentrified. Now where we used to go, you know, so-and-so that moved here from Walnut Creek because they felt the culture was cool. Yeah. But as soon as they move into West Oakland, now all of a sudden they're calling police because they're, oh my gosh, there are people that are, their music is playing loudly and we don't like it. And so to create So Oakland was so important to me. You know, it wasn't about me. I wish people knew how much money I spent out of my own pocket to create So Oakland.
Yeah.
And it was how many times I were at home crying because I'm like, I have nothing in my bank account right now. Mm-hmm. And I want my people to have a good time. And I never put out that So Oakland, like, I never put out the bad sides of entrepreneurship, right?
Yes.
It was always the imagery and the videos
the greatness.
Of greatness, right? And that's important, and that's what we should do. Everybody don't need to know that. But I will let you know what entrepreneurship really is. And so, you know, the thing about me and what affected me in business is I chose to do a lot of stuff by myself. So Oakland, even though I did have people that helped me when I needed, I share this because as you're trying to build, you need a team. You cannot grow. Shout out to Alicia and Black Joy Parade because she has her team and she did it the right way. But I learned from that because I had a business prior that we got burned. Mm-hmm. And so that was just business trauma. Yeah. So building So Oakland was just like, this is my baby. I got it. I'm going to do it by myself. You know, this is what I'm building. No one can do it my way. And when I realized how much that was affecting me was when I got cancer. Yeah. And when I got cancer, So Oakland shut down. There was no post. There was no events. And it just made me realize, like, dang, like, I don't really have a team like that. Yeah. And so the momentum of So Oakland was still growing because I was still, you know, doing what I needed to do. And it was such a strong brand that it was kind of operating by itself. But moving to Houston, I thought Houston was going to be temporary. You know, like I said, I moved to other places and I never stayed for more than 7 months. I moved to Chicago, 7 months, Atlanta, 7 months. I lived in Charlotte. You know, I went to school out there. And so I'm like, I'm going to give Houston 3 years and see what happens. And I'm thankful for Houston. Houston healed me. Houston is taking care of me. Shout out to my cancer team. Yes. I love Houston. Yes. And it doesn't mean that I don't love Oakland because I'm So Oakland. Yes. And then I'm going to take that wherever. I'm going wherever. You're going to know I'm from Oakland. Yes. You know, when people have conversations with me and they try to, you know, make fun or say something, I get very defensive about Oakland. I got very defensive about that Keith Lee situation. Yes. I got very I was like, wait,
did nobody tell you to eat there?
Nobody told you to go there. And who did you connect with? Okay, because I know where you need to go, and I could have
connected. Tap in with the real Bay Area.
And why are you showing that? Like, okay, you're from Detroit. No. You like, we're damn near the same, you know. So I got very defensive. Like, you can't talk about Oakland. Only I can. We know what's going on. Yes. So I got very defensive, but it's just I just love where I'm from. Yeah. But I also knew that I'm not the same Shayla.
Yeah.
And, you know, in order for us to grow, we have to get uncomfortable. And I knew that there was so much more to me, and there was so much more that I wanted to do, and I saw it outside of Oakland. And it didn't mean that I was never going to come back. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I knew that Oakland is big. I mean, the world is big.
Yeah.
There's so much to see. I also want to live abroad.
Yeah.
And so as I was spending more and more time in Houston and, you know, trying to connect and network out there, because that's where I live now, and trying to build out there, I was unable to do both. I couldn't really give my all into somewhere that I'm at.
Yeah.
So Oakland was the last bit of Shayla Bang.
Yeah.
So Oakland was the last thing that I was holding on to. I was like, this is the old Shayla. I cannot let this go. And if I let her go, Shayla Bang is done. Like she's no longer in existence. And it was very hard. I was still holding on to her. I was still trying to do events.
Yeah.
I was still trying to do certain things because, like I said, it was just this connection. It was like I felt like the city needed me. I had responsibility. I was like all this weight. And people don't understand that. People looked at So Oakland and looked at me as not just somebody. And this is not like, I'm not trying to talk about myself like, oh, I'm all that. Like, that is not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that sometimes in our community, there are people that we look up to or feel like they are the ones that are responsible to get certain things out. And sometimes, like, for So Oakland, it was just like, I just wanted to create a space for us to have a good time. I wanted to do activism my way, right? And people, like, sometimes I would be like, if there's something that you are, if there's something that you believe in and there's something that you want to do, start it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to use So Oakland as an example of, like, you don't necessarily have to leave. If there's something you believe in and want to do it your way. I did it my way. People will always be like, you should be doing this.
At the city council meeting.
At the city council meetings. You need to be doing this march. You need to go. And I used to be like, okay, but I really just want us to create a space and have a good time and see my people just kind of like forgetting about the rat race.
Yeah.
But I also used my platform and understanding, like, I knew my power.
Yeah.
I knew my voice. But behind closed doors, it was heavy.
Yeah.
It was heavy because I'm like, dang, they want me to do this. Okay, like, let me do this. If I don't do this, your platform is too big for nobody. Like, why are you throwing parties? Mm-hmm. Why are you still doing events? Mm-hmm. Oakland is more than that. Like, we got stuff going on in the streets. We got stuff going. And I used to be like, do it. Do it. Please go do it. We need more than one.
Yeah.
We need more than one. And so I used to be quiet about that. But after a while, I used to be like, fuck that.
Yeah.
You know, like, y'all just don't understand what I was going through and what I was building and how much pressure it was. And so for me during cancer, I was like, I choose me.
Yeah.
I choose me. I choose my health. I choose my sanity. I want to be stress-free. I don't know how much longer I have on this earth. I want it to be light. And so Oakland was heavy for me.
Yeah.
And so I felt that after my last event, I felt that it was just time.
Yes.
I'm moving in a new direction. It doesn't mean that I'm not still going to use, because people were also like, you should sell So Oakland, you should sell the platform. Absolutely not.
No.
But, you know, I am rebranding.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that my platform, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to showcase anything Oakland.
Yeah.
I'm just moving in a different direction. Also, my Shayla James. Like, I used to call myself Shayla Bang for the longest, and now I go by Shayla James. That was growth in who I am now. Yes. And the moment I made that announcement and I did that video of me ending So Oakland, I felt so light.
Free.
Woo, I felt free. I didn't feel like I had this responsibility on my shoulders anymore. I felt that it was like I choose me.
Yes.
And focusing on my fashion, focusing on whatever it is that I want to do in this.
What Shayla loves.
What Shayla loves, guilt free.
Yes.
And the thing about it is, like, I want to use So Oakland as an example for young girls coming up. If there's anything you want to do, I don't care if you wanted to start a traveling book club, black book club, or like, I want a space for girls to learn how to do hair, and like in Oakland I want to do workshops. Do it.
Yes.
That is your form of giving back.
Yes.
And that's your form of like, you are creating something that is not only what you believe in, but little do you know, there are people that are like, I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this space. Just like Black Girl Cancer Club. I've been waiting for this space. There's enough for all of us to do, and I just don't want people to think that there can only be one. And sometimes in Oakland it could be crabs in the bucket, crabs in a barrel.
I'm learning,
and you're learning, and it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
We need multiple So Oakland-esque spaces.
Yes.
Using the blueprint that I created, and people gonna understand it's not easy, but taking certain things from what I did and what I created. Okay, well, she did this, let me put more emphasis of this part of So Oakland. Okay, I want to just focus on vendors. Let me just do vendors only. I want to focus on, okay, she used to have people perform. I want to create a space where just artists and musicians. Focus on that part. Okay, I want to do community give back, because like, I would give back, do homeless, and partnered up with Target and I want to just do give back. So there's different elements of So Oakland that just need more focus. I couldn't focus on all of them
hard.
As much as I wanted to. I'm like, okay, give back, okay, parties, okay, do this and do this, and I couldn't. And so I talked to God about it, and I was just like, it's time. And it's time for me to, I'm in my 40s, and there's just a different direction that I want to go. And I did what I needed to do. I got a proclamation, like, anyone that speaks about So Oakland that's not a hater speaks beautiful things about So Oakland. And it's more, and this is important, I couldn't tell you who doesn't like me or who doesn't like So Oakland. And there are people. But I'm so loved. And there's so many people that speak more positively about So Oakland and about me, that my focus is so zoomed in on them that anybody else is talking to themselves, or whoever else is cheering them on about the So Oakland hate train or the Shayla hate train or whatever the case may be. But I don't know. Because I choose to focus on the love. I choose to focus on who shows up and not who's not there. And I think that is very important. 9 years is a long time to have created. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. To see people, certain celebrities that follow So Oakland that I didn't even know. And, I'm going through the comments and I'm seeing blue check marks and I'm just like, oh, Sheila E. and Too Short and, all these artists from other, what's her name that does the movies, the black lady, Angela DuVernay, what's her name?
Angela, what is it?
Is it, Ava DuVernay? She did, what movies did she do? She just did Origin, the movie Origin.
Oh, wow.
She did, the what's the Central Park 5.
Okay.
She did Central Park 5.
And she
follows So Oakland.
It's a well-known brand.
Yes. So just seeing comments and like, you did good, you did your part, you should be proud of yourself. I was just like, I am proud of myself. And I think it's very important also to stop and smell your roses.
Yes.
Stop, give yourself praise, clap for yourself. It may be little to others, but it's big. You don't know how hard it is to start. I don't care if at every month mark you're like, taken myself out to dinner. It's been a month. I've been doing this podcast.
Yes.
I've had this many people show up to me. Cheers. Congratulations, Brit. We're doing it.
Thank
you. It
is
very important that we do that.
Sometimes
don't water yourself down. Don't water your accomplishments down. Sometimes I did that at sometimes because I was just so consumed on creating that somebody be like, people come up to me, oh my gosh, Shayla, you did So Oakland. Can I take a picture? And I'm like, well, it's just So Oakland. Yeah. It's just So Oakland. Don't ever speak about yourself or your brand or what you created like that. It's not just nothing. Yes. Yeah. I did do that. Yeah. I'm proud of myself. I followed through. It was extremely hard, and I hope what I did, you take something from it. Don't give up. Don't feel like you have to leave to create anything. But if you do, so what? It doesn't mean you're less Oakland. Doesn't mean you less Bay Area. Just always like be stern. Be stern about what you're creating and what you believe in. And this is just a new chapter. We write our chapters, from time we were born to, a certain age, from junior high to high school, another chapter, from high school to whatever, another chapter, from our 20s, another chapter. This is just another chapter. And as much as people were like, no, don't leave. If I was really listening to everyone else, So Oakland would be here for years to come. Yes. But I'm not passionate about it anymore. And we have to listen to that too. Yes. And sometimes you might feel bad about that. Like, oh my God. But you have to listen. If you don't love something the same way, you're not going to put the same effort into it. You're going to neglect it. Yes. And I was starting to neglect something that I once was in love with. Yeah. And when I felt that, I knew that it was time to move on. Yes. And I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Cheers. With our water.
Cheers.
Okay.
Yes. I appreciate you so much for coming to speak to Black Girls Cancer Club.